Good day, everyone. James Hicks here from Hicks New Media. Welcome to the Digital Collective, where we focus on the people, the organizations that are making positive strides within the enterprise technology field. Today, I am very pleased to announce a new exclusive content series. This session is part of that series where I will be talking with key members of the leadership team within Intel and their international trade group. Today's topic and subject matter is how the International Trade Group empowers the corporate vision of Intel. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome my esteemed panel, Linda, Clifton, and Nantha. How are you today?
Doing well, James. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you for joining us. I want to go ahead and get started because I want to be cognizant of time. I have a handful of questions, and I want to kind of go around the panel and ask. And if you guys can chime in as well about other particular items, that would be amazing. Question one, I feel that there's really no one better than the individual themselves to kind of tell their origin story. With that being said, and being cognizant that you are a global team, could each of you kind of first tell where you're based and kind of explain what you do professionally for Intel, including your tenure with the company, along with, here's a caveat that I'm gonna ask. If you can add in just something that you do from a fun perspective, something outside of the work environment that you can share with the audience as well. Ladies first, I'm gonna start with you, Linda, if you don't mind.
Sure. Hi, James. It's very good to meet you.
You too.
So I'm based in Santa Clara,
Okay.
here in the Silicon Valley. I've been with Intel for over 20 years now.
Wow.
I start out as a temporary worker. Um, I have a commute about 40 miles away. So at the time it was like, okay, I'm not going to do this forever, just for about a month. And here I'm still here after 20 years. Obviously, I love being here. So what I do at Intel is I have a team of very unique talents. They have both deep trade compliance knowledge as well as very highly technical in terms of enterprise solutions as well.
Hmm. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, but you didn't say the one fun thing about you as well. I'm not going to let you slide without giving us that, right? You're not going to get
All
off
right.
off the hook easy, right?
Um, when I was in high school, I worked as a dental assistant.
Nice.
And what happened one time was we're doing extractions, and what the doctor was going to do was pull the tooth out and plant it back in. I
Maybe
didn't know
what?
that, and pulled the tooth. I tossed it.
Oh my goodness.
He
I
almost got
didn't
hurt.
want you to come on live here and like give away some secrets and maybe hopefully the statute of limitations is gone over that one right there. That's okay.
All worked out well.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you again for sharing and thank you for joining today as well. Nantha, how about you, sir?
Thank you, James. Thanks for having us here. I'm based in Penang, Malaysia. Been with Intel for about 9 years now. I started as a country lead for trade compliance in Malaysia. Today, I am taking care of international trade policies or
Hmm.
trade group for Asia Pacific, working along with all the Asia Pacific governments, touch base on trade policies. Uh, what else? The one thing about me, extra, I am a fan of wild orchids, like the one that grow in the jungle. So,
Okay.
whenever I have time, I go and collect them and bring back home, clean them up, and put it in my nice home garden. That's something I do extra out of my work schedule.
That's pretty cool. See, it's always good to get the full circle of what people do, right? Because we do what we do on a day-to-day basis, right? 9 to 5, or there is really no 9 to 5, but it's it's always good to get kind of that full circumference view of what people are. So, last but not least, Mr. Clifton Roberts, how about you, sir?
Yeah, thanks for having us, James. I really appreciate it. I've been with Intel now it'll be 12 years. Like Linda, I started off as a contract worker in IT. I am based in the Folsom office, but I live in Marysville, California. and I lead a team within the International Trade Group under the leadership of Michelle Stout, who you've had the pleasure of interviewing
Yes.
before, as part of the Global Business Acceleration Team. And the name of the team that I lead is the Transformation and Collaboration Office. And we'll probably talk more about the overarching leader of the International Trade Group, who's amazing. One fun fact about me, since the age of 4, not that I'm practiced now, but I started studying Shoin-ryu karate at the age of 4. Received a black belt in Shoin-ryu karate from a great man named Fusei Kisei, who is still alive to this day, still lives in Okinawa.
Amazing.
From him at 14 years of age. And then when I came to the States, I actually studied Kaji Kempo for many years, received a black belt in Kaji Kempo. And then I fought on the UC Berkeley Taekwondo team because I tried to trick the Professor Min was his name, tried to trick him and join a beginning Taekwondo class, and he figured me out right away. He figured me out.
You didn't have a good poker face, huh? Okay.
I did not have, and I didn't have any good poker legs. I was, my kicks were right. My kicks were awesome.
Yes.
But no, that's a fun fact about me, and I think it's provided the foundation of a lot of who I am. Definitely.
I love it. I will make sure that I stay on your good side. And if I ever get into some situations, I'm calling Clifton Roberts. How about that? I'm just going to leave that there. Nantha, let me come back to you and ask you something, because you mentioned that you, sir, are in Malaysia, but engaged with governments around kind of a large region, Asia Pacific. What's that like, right? What's the aspect of your work that keeps you excited and wanting to bring value each day, right? That's a large swath of geography, and just tell us about what a day in the life of you are, so.
That's a nice question, James. You see, Intel always believes in giving back to the community that we live, where we operate globally, right? So one of the key aspects in my job is not only to make sure we bring about the best trade policies to the attention of the government, where both sides gets the win, but it also brings synergy and benefit for the ecosystem to build up. But the one thing that really keeps me going is how to align those policies of Intel with the different governments across Asia Pacific, right? Every government has their own different needs, wants, goals, and missions. But how are we aligning to make sure that everybody comes to a center stage? That's the challenge, right? You have to weigh in the factors of the local government regulation, the international organization regulations. So that's what keeps me on the tour, keeping alert, keeping me always on the educated part, and of course sharing with them. Not all negotiations will go well, it's not all nice, at least in Wonderland story. But it's all part of learning. It's all part of journeying, sharing together visions to make the ecosystem, the community, a better place for everybody. And of course, bringing technology that's going to enrich the lives of people, like what Intel always believes in. So that's kind of like what I do.
Amazing. Appreciate you for being for explaining that. And just thinking about the technology, I'm gonna make it plain, right? I mean, even for folks that are watching us now, just the connectivity between the United States, between Northern California, between Malaysia, right now, live streaming across multiple social networks and social media platforms in 4K resolution. That takes a lot of things. And I'm gonna use your old slogan, Intel Inside. I don't know if you guys are still using that one, but I'll say that one. But again, that powers a lot of the technology that is literally doing what it is that we're doing right now at this particular time. So, Linda, let me get to you. Right, you mentioned you lead a team of technology solution experts with, and you said a broad mix of trade experience as well as infotech expertise. Right. I myself am very interested in that. So I'm going to be selfish in asking this question. Could you talk a little bit about what your team does, then how it helps Intel overall, and then to align with the title of this session, how your team how your team's contributions, let me say that, how your team's contributions empower Intels to enrich the lives of every person on the planet, because that is your mission statement as an organization. So let me preface and go back again. Talk to us a little bit about what it is that your team actually does, and then how your team kind of fits into that overall mission of Intel, contributing to the fact of enriching the lives of every person on the planet. You get the hard question, right? Right now they got the easy one, but you get the hard one.
And sure, I will attempt to answer that. So I have a team of, let's see, about maybe half of them with true trade background, yeah,
Mm,
with um, broker base, customs broker base, and also talents coming from our IT organization. So we have a very unique environment where we bring both worlds together. So we bridge the trade organization in terms of compliance, ensuring that Intel is compliant. And in today's geopolitical environment, um, as you can imagine, the challenges companies, many companies, we all face.
mm,
And so in order to ensure that, our shipments are crossing the border on time, with low TPT, and everything runs on systems, whether today anything we do, as you mentioned, we're talking here is digital, right? Is system, is technology. Um, so in order to get the technology to work for you, you have to know the business as well,
right.
right? So it's where, how do you translate from a new regulation, from a new compliance that's being enforced into the technology world? And so the system is operating accordingly. So that's the main, I guess, main role my team plays, is to ensure that that process is as efficient as possible, as well as operation wise, right? We're
Mm,
looking, how can we, um, with supply chain issue, how can we operate with the limited resource today? Um, how do we automate? How do we remove some of the repetitive tasks using the latest technology? And how do we use AI to facilitate that? Right. That's um, the challenge is, and also the exciting part is, there's so much new technology, and how do you
hmm.
apply, and how
So
do you transition from the traditional legacy system? It's not something that, as a brand new company, you start out there, and how do we
yeah,
move there?
interesting point. You've got the cool job, right? So we're you and I are going to keep stay in contact, and you do the cool stuff at work, right? Everyone else, no, I'm not going to talk about that like that. Thank you for that. That is it. And again, that context in terms of, again, what you do, and I hope you don't mind how I frame the question, right? Again, how you fit into the overall Intel corporate strategy. And I think just in your explanation, it kind of shows that the relevance of what you individually, and then what your umbrella organization does. So that's what I was pulling out. So I appreciate you for going into some of that detail and that context. Mr. Roberts, you're not new here,
So,
right? You're not, you've been in the Hicks New Media studio before. Um, so I might go a little easier on you, though. Linda's question was a little harder. You, sir, have worked kind of you've worked in a number of positions. You've worked as a global director of data policy. You've written white papers on AI in healthcare, and now you're leading this team called the Transformation and Collaboration Office within the International Trade Group at Intel. First of all, congratulations, right, on this continued professional growth and role expansion. I want to definitely say that first of all. Um, from the 30,000 foot level, and as I typically like to say, for those of us sitting in the back of the room, can you explain what your team actually does, and more specifically, how it is that it's different than the other roles that you've had within the organization?
yeah, absolutely. The first thing I would say is the team truly is raising the bar in how we as an organization respond to what Linda mentioned as a evolving geopolitical environment. Um, you know, we all know that in essence, internally anyway, and this is maybe something that, you know, I want to highlight with your viewers and your listeners, is that we consider trade the fuel of the digital economy.
Mm.
And the reason why I was so excited about Nantha and I both, this is something he didn't even tell you. We moved from the government side, right? You knew this. You didn't know this about Nantha, but we both moved from government to international trade. And James, it's such a great team to be on. If you look at it from the 30, even 50,000 foot view first, from the shoes of our Chief Trade Officer, Jeff Rittner.
Okay.
Incredible leader. You know, what he does, especially now with what's going on in Russia and in Belarus and all of this, I mean, it would just be, his shoes would be difficult, if not impossible to fill, because the decisions that he has to make on a pivot and the operation that he has to be able to command, as well as the laws that he has to make sure that not only his group, but Intel as a collective, as 110,000 employees, is just, it's critical. So the Transformation and Collaboration Office exacerbates the collaboration. And we are there to support anything from shifting our mindset in terms of how we embrace growth and how we, while embracing compliance. We're a communication arm of not only Michelle's group, but all of the international trade group. And we do all sorts of things, and we have fun as well. Linda and Nantha can tell you that we are the group that we host people programs, you know, the proximity events, but also we engage with governments. As a matter of fact, we just got off the phone with government officials prior to getting on this call, the three of us, which is why I've mentioned that we often joke about it internally, but we call ourselves the Three Musketeers because we spend a lot of time together. So yeah, it's a different group. I have a rock star team of trade experts like Linda. They've been in the trade field for a long time. They've welcomed me with open arms, and just so happy to be working with these two amazing people. I learn from them every day.
That's cool. That is cool. I appreciate you for sharing that. And I'm not going to let you off the hook with that Three Musketeers statement there, right? So I want to dive into that. Let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, we've got Northern California, U.S. We got Malaysia. How can a team that is so geographically displaced, talk to me a little bit about the synergies between your work and how in the world all of you are able to pull off working together so closely together, especially again with there being so many miles in between each of you, right? And I guess how that synergy is happening, how you get the naming of the Three Musketeers, someone who really, again, just symbolizes true teamwork and one for all for one kind of thing. I'm gonna ask that of each of you, and I'll start with you, Nantha.
Well, it's sorry for laughing.
No worries,
But,
man.
you
No,
know,
see, I came from left field with
truly,
this one. It's okay, man.
truly an honor to work with credible individuals at Intel, especially like Linda and Clifton. I learned so much about them. And to answer your question, how are we getting the synergy? Technology. It's all about technology. Today, we are connected by technology.
Yeah.
And that is what we are trying to bring or create more awareness to the governments across the globe, bring in more technology to make everything more easier, more feasible. I know there are challenges, I know there are concerns, but hey, Intel is here to help. We have different kind of programs. Some of it's already proven, some of it's already working progress with different governments across the globe. And like Clifton mentioned, just got off the phone with the government officials developing a new system for trade and supply chain. We are here ready to help and give whatever we know, technology to make sure that the future lives, the future generation move on without any hiccups. I mean, COVID-19 taught us a big lesson.
Yeah.
It pushed those governments or individuals who did not want to embrace technology for different reasons. I'm not blaming anybody, but it taught us a lesson. Technology could have helped given that situation. And that's what we're trying to say, talk about the technology different. I mean, Linda put it very nicely, the AI perspective and stuff. And Clifton mentioned about being intelligent trade. That's kind of like where we are moving. And technology helps bring that closeness. Of course, we would definitely love to have that face-to-face. But hey, here we are achieving what we are because of the technology. So
Yes.
that's where we are focused, James.
I love that's a good word to use right there, as it's all again plastered all in the studio here, staying focused on you.
Yes.
But I love the fact that you talked about utilizing the technology differently, right? And if anyone can make that claim, it's Intel, right? So it's really comforting to hear. It's refreshing, it's comforting, it's all of those adjectives to hear, Intel saying that, who you are, and I'll say it, the 800-pound gorilla, the one who is leading the effort, leading the charge from those, a lot of those perspectives, to say, think about the technology differently, and we can still continue to
Right.
progress and move forward. Linda, how about you? Talk to me about these three musketeers. You heard about them before? Yeah.
I think I heard someone mention that. James, it feels like we're always in the same room.
Yeah.
There's no distance. And especially and maybe the pandemic just automatically helps, right? That we are constantly, we see each other now, which wasn't comfortable in 2 years ago, for me at least.
Mm.
But now, I mean, Nantha, Clifton, we're like, we can have a 9 o'clock meeting afterwards. Nantha's still there, right? Hey, it literally, I think, is even more close for me to feel like with the two of them than when we're back in the office.
Mm.
It's really, and again, just technology. And you would talk about the synergy, as I think and I'm learning so much from those two. We call Clifton the master. Every time we talk to Nantha, often multiple times a day.
Mm.
And each time he's just brimming with excitement. It's like, I just talked to so-and-so, and they are so, Clifton and I just look at him go. Incredible.
Love it.
So I love just, again, this synergy, the energy, and I think we all share that same vision.
Mm.
And all the time, you can just say one sentence and it just opens up ideas. Just let's go.
That's really cool. That's really,
Yeah, really exciting.
and that stems. I'm going to say it right. I'm going to speak out of turn. That stems from the leadership, right? Again, so Clifton, I'm going to put that on your shoulders and have you answer that last question about the three musketeers and that synergy of you. And it really sounds like from what Nantha and what Linda are saying, utilizing what you have, utilizing the technology, taking advantage of that, being open to conversation and engagement and interaction and all of that. But if it wasn't for, the man sitting in the corner cube, even though you're sitting right now outside in your backyard, back pasture, and I love that too as well. But that's where a lot of that comes from as well. That collusion and that teamwork, things of that nature. So again, kudos to you, sir, on those efforts that you portray to your team.
But James, Linda and Nantha are so right. I 100% agree. And if I had to sum it up in 3 words, it's the three of us share unity of purpose. And we are committed to Jeff's leadership. Jeff Rittner, who is our chief trade officer, we're committed to his leadership team, which Nantha is actually part of. Like Michelle Stout, Nantha, and Brad Benson, and Richard Hogg, and Rebecca Conover, and Trin Vaughn, who's a principal engineer. And we're so crisp and unified in the mission of Intel, and then subsequently the mission of our law and policy group, which is called the Growth Acceleration Team.
Mm.
And then we also within ITG, the International Trade Group, have a mission. The three of us, everything we do, we march to the drumbeat of the International Trade Group's vision and mission, which is to empower Intel to grow, to empower Intel to enrich the lives of every single person on earth. To Linda's point, this is funny, and we tease Nantha about this all the time. But we do. We talked to Nantha, and he was like, "Yeah," and he says it so nonchalantly. And this is when I first just started to get enamored with Nantha's life and his experience, and as a colleague and as a friend. But he'd be like, "Yeah, I just got off the phone, or I got out of a meeting with the prime minister of so and so, or I talked to the king, or and he just says it so nonchalantly, and I'm like, What?" Yeah, but I just enjoy working with them, and uh, within our group, we've been encouraged to, as much as possible, not just pick up the phone, but talk through video, so we get to see each other all the
Mm.
time. And it has been challenging, but we've created, within our teams, a culture of virtual proximity, if you will,
Mm.
with a unity of purpose, and that's why we work so well together.
That's amazing. The unity of purpose. I love that. Not that I'm gonna have to snag your Rolodex. If you're dropping names like that. No, don't ever lose your little black book, or make sure your contacts file is locked down, sir. Um, this has been amazing, right? There's just having this conversation with you three and having you share your stories, and then the stories of how you are contributing to overall society. Not yes, the goal and the mission of Intel, but again, I think I want to broaden it and say the overall goal and what you share to society. I think just having this conversation right now, at this particular time of what's going on, globally and things of that nature, knowing third person looking in how involved you probably are just in those types of things. And I just want to say thank you for all that you're doing. And it's much clearer now that Intel's in good hands. Right. Not that I didn't doubt that, but again, just from the perspective of having you three kind of lead those charge, move those chess pieces in terms of everything that you're doing from a trade perspective, from a collaboration perspective, and things of that nature. Wanted to say thank you again for this time. I look forward to going maybe even a layer deeper, right, in some future conversations that we may have. But from my perspective, I'm humble and just grateful to have this conversation. And Mr. Roberts, I don't know, I'll let you close out the session, sir, if you have anything remaining that you'd like to say.
Yeah, we are all united as human beings with everything that's going on in the world, and we are blessed to be here in front of you, James, talking with you through technology. We admire and respect your platform and allowing us a voice. We wish nothing but peace on earth, and we wish everyone safe, um, safety and love, being around their families. And it's just so great to work for a company like you mentioned that has the audacity
Hmm.
to want to enrich the lives of every single person on the planet.
That's a powerful word you just used right there. I love that and I respect that. Linda, Nantha, Clifton Roberts, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for representing yourself. Thank you for representing Intel. And again, I'll say thank you for everything you do. Be well and take care of yourself. We are out. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.
One word.